Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to welcome so many who have come from near and far to help us celebrate a very special young man and a special occasion tomorrow afternoon. And for those of you who are here to celebrate Shabbat, and of course, for those who are here to remember and have a yard site or a most recent death, we are glad that we can be here to try to mourn together and to lift your spirits. And certainly, as part of our nation, we all mourn once again this Shabbat, the terrible tragedy that took place in California. Once again, our children are suffering from our inadequacy to protect them. And that is very painful for all of us, and our hearts and thoughts go out to them all, as do our hearts and thoughts go out to all of those in Israel who are praying for what will be, we hope, a quiet and peaceful Shabbat without the terror of bombs raining down on their everyday life. So how fortunate we are to be able to come together on Shabbat for good occasions in safety and in health, in memory, and with lots of love. So, Kendra, it's a pleasure to have you and Kylie here with us. Kylie, how are you today? Shabbat Shalom. Kylie was a bat mitzvah here not too long ago herself. Unbelievable. And is being trained and raised by the cantor with her talent and her voice. And it's always a special treat to have her. So we're going to begin Shabbat with the lighting of the Shabbat candles and the blessing of the wine. We're on page 120 in our Mishkan Tefillah. And Ryan, I'm going to invite you forward with your parents and your brother and your sister so that your mom can light candles and you can lead us in Kiddush.
We're on page 120 in our Sidurs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedushan v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And on page 123, we're going to join together for the Kiddush. Ryan, hold up the Kiddush cup while you do that, okay? Thank you. Amen. Asher kichan v'mitzvotav v'rasa banu v'shabbat kodshav v'ahava v'ratzon kinhi lanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah v'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitrayim ki banu baharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uratzon hinhaltanu baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. It's only juice. Go enjoy it. Thank you so much.
We're going to continue with the chanting of Lecha Dodi, page 138 in your Sidurim. Yalalala Lecha Dodi, yalalala Likrat Kalah, yalalala K'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Mikol yalalala Lecha Dodi, yalalala Likrat Kalah, sorry, yalalala גיבור אחד, השביענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. פני שבת, פני שבת לקראת שבת, לכוון אל חג, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יללי, יללי לך דודי, יללי לקראת כלה, יללי פני שבת, פני שבת
It is traditional on the last verse of Lecha Dodi, which is on the bottom of page 139, that we rise and actually face the doors as if we are welcoming in the Shabbos Queen. So please rise and face the doors.
בואי ושלום, עטרת מלך, גם בשמחה ובשמחה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלום, בואי חלום, יללי, יללי לך דודי, יללי לקראת כלה, יללי פני שבת, פני שבת And we face forward as we turn to page 146. We remain standing through the Baruch Hu and the Shema. You may be seated. And we're on page 154 as we continue chanting together.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 157, please let us read the English responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
And though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing, as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Try the yai-dais with me. We continue with Hashkiveinu on the top of page 160. Let's read it first while she puts the capo on. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom. Save us for the sake of the name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Eloheinu Lishalom. V'hamidenu
We're going to continue with the Amidah beginning on page 164. I would ask that you all rise. And Ryan is going to lead it. Thank you, Ryan.
Forward,
I need
Ryan.
a break. Thank you so much.
Please rise.
Adonai, sifatei tiftach ufi hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imoteinu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasei Avot Ve'imot, U'Mevi Kulam Livnei Ve'em, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rag Le'Oshia. Shia, Mashiv Ruach Umarit Hagashem, Mechakel Chaim Behesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Nofli Berochei Kolim, Umatir Resurim, Umkayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Mimid, Umechaye, Umatzmiya Veshua, V'ne'eman Atah, Ayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai,
Michayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha hakadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihalaluhu chasela. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'il hakadosh.
And you may all be seated. I'd ask you to turn to page 173. At the top of the page, we'll read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. And our prayer of thanksgiving is on 177. And we'll read in English together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Please join us in Shalom Rav, page 178. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lichol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lichol hashalom. Shalom ra'av, O Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom ra'av, O Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarer et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom ra'av, O Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Shalom ra'av, O Yisrael amcha, tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Well, each and every Shabbat, there is a time when we leave the written word and instead give a moment to our own private thoughts and meditations. It's interesting to note that on Shabbat, as much as there are things that we'd like to ask for, the day is really meant as a day of gratitude, of thanksgiving for all the things that
we perhaps were granted this week and never took the time to appreciate. The small things, like the prayers that we are to say each and every day, such as opening our eyes to a new day, being able to function and have our body move, being able to go to work and even have the stresses that are put upon us. It means that life is normal and we are fortunate. But how often we know that we often take time to point out what does not go right in life rather than our blessings. And that's why Shabbat is here. Shabbat is always a reminder to reorient our priorities and remember who we are and what we need to be grateful for. So we pause for a few moments.
Say shalom bimrama, Huyai say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvot Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvot Hevel, v'imnu Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvot Hevel, v'imnu Amen.
Always on Shabbat, we think of those who may be in need of extra healing of body, mind, or soul. So if you are thinking of someone and are comfortable sharing their name, please feel free to do so or say it within your heart. For those known to us and unknown to us, we say, Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed is God from where the source of healing flows. And if healing cannot be their ultimate gift, then we pray that they may be able to endure their challenges. Well, as anyone who knows who comes regularly to Temple Har Shalom, each and every Friday night, we always take some time to learn something new or to discuss something that has happened in the news that we need to be aware of. That too is a teaching of Shabbat. You never leave a service or a sanctuary without having learned something or added to the learning of something. And indeed, this week, while the world was concentrating on so many different things, I want to bring your attention to what was, for the rest of the world, probably a very small act, but for the very small land of Israel, another disastrous moment. So perhaps I hope that you are aware that this past week, as our nation has been focused on the political turmoil, and then, of course, on what just happened yesterday in California, Israel has been dealing all week with the terror that is coming from its neighbor in Gaza. Day in and day out, from the largest city, Tel Aviv, to all points south, the country needed to close down. And that's because hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rockets came from Gaza towards Israel. And instead of taking our children to their activities and their soccer games and their B'nai Mitzvah lessons and their dance lessons, Israeli parents were making sure that within 30 to 60 seconds, their children could make it into a bomb shelter. It is for this very reason that, for all of you who know me so well, I say until we put ourselves in that land and live that life, we have no right to comment on what they do and how they live. They're putting their very lives on the line. We can only offer them our support. But while they were fighting for their lives, it's very significant to understand what was happening in the European Union. Can anybody tell me what was happening? Did Israel receive the support of the European Union? Did they receive the condemnation of the European Union? Did anyone care in the European Union? And the European Union was very busy this week, of course, dealing with the only country that ever concerns them, Israel. In 2004, Natan Sharansky, perhaps the greatest refusenik in the history of the escape from Soviet Russia, created what he called the 3Ds in terms of how attitudes towards Israel: delegitimization, demonization, and a double standard. That means that throughout the world, everyone works to delegitimize the state, to demonize it as the aggressor, and to always have a double standard. So while the Israelis were fighting for their lives this week, the European Union took 4 days to discuss the products that are made in the Golan and in an area known as Judea and Samaria, or better known as the West Bank. Now, what was so important about all these products that are made there? The fact that they employ hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Israelis and Palestinians, that was not their concern. Their concern was that Europeans needed to know that these products were produced in a part of Israel that is not recognized by the European Union. And therefore, every product that comes out of there needs to have a special stamp that says, not made in Israel. Israel, the startup nation, the nation that gives this world so many life-saving medicines and inventions and creations and, pardon me, Cantor? Technology, and only does for and gives back to the world spends so much time trying to push it down. So why do I spend this time telling you? Because we can't be naive to it. Because what those 3 Ds are is really anti-Semitism.
Sometimes people don't want to come out and say that they are against Jews or against the Jewish people. It's far more easier to say they're against the Jewish land and the Jewish nation and Jewish creations. Incidentally, the Golan is part of the state of Israel. It is like saying every product made in Texas is no longer made in the United States, but is made only in Texas because we took it from Mexico. Are we giving it back so fast? We do what every nation in the world has done. You win territory, you take territory, you make it your own. That is the Golan. That is part of Judea and Samaria, and that is all of Jerusalem in its entirety. So just so you know, Israel is very much on its own. And if we didn't know that already, if we didn't know that our Jewish neighbors and brothers and sisters in Europe are facing such an incredible rise in anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism never went away. It was just pushed to the side for a while. And now it is rearing its ugly head once again. And to bring it up in the terms of business, that's going back centuries. That is bringing back to life the anti-Semitic teachings of centuries ago, even going back to the Crusades, never buying from, shopping from, using any, going to anyone Jewish. So I tell you this because we must be aware. We may be as comfortable as could be, but it is our duty and it is our responsibility. And I'll tell you who's learned that. Ryan has in preparing for his bar mitzvah, as do all of our young people. They know that this is not about just celebrating who they are, but it's about standing up and being counted and knowing that we don't hide from our issues. We stand up and we are proud of who we are, and we don't let others push us around. So that's why on every Shabbat, I hope you'll always learn something new. Remember who we are, where we come from, and that no one will stick up for us like we will. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be so. So just to reiterate, I hope you'll always remember the 3 Ds of delegitimization, demonization, and the double standard.
If you'll allow, please turn to page 678 and face the Israeli flag and join me in Hatikvah.
Would you rise, please? Thank you, Campton.
Kol od valeva pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefaytei mizrach kaidima Ari Litzion Sophia und Lovda Tikvatinu Hai Tikvat Shnot Alvayim Liot Amchoshim Bi'otzinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liot Amchoshim Bi'otzinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
I'd ask that we remain standing. We turn to page 586.
Ryan and Bradley and Kayla, would you please come up and open the Ark doors? Page 586.
Aleinu לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצאי בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
I would ask that we please remain standing, because at this time, as we do each and every time we come together as a community, we remember those who are no longer physically present with us, but who are very much alive within our hearts and our memories. On this Shabbat, we remember the yortzites of Lucille Alter, Martha Coleman, Lena Cohn, Glenn Gibson, Lilo Goldenberg, Lillian Ehrlich Kaplan, Larry Levitz, Wendy Llewellyn, Ida Billy Marks, Leonard Meiselman, and Bernadette Riley. If there is anyone that's commemorating a yortzeit and wants to share a name, please feel free to do so. And we remember 3 who have been taken from our midst in recent days: Dorothy Lipman, Esther Regent, and Dory Oaklander. The memories of all of our beloved are commingled with those that we have lost as a nation, those who Israel has lost in the Israel Defense Forces and in the American Armed Forces, all those who give their lives in defense of our nation and the land of Israel. So on page 598, we recite the Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Israel, v'agalat v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam amei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kodeshav v'richu, le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba mim shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. And just a reminder that our Shabbat worship continues tomorrow afternoon at our Mincha service, at which time Ryan Sapaf will become a bar mitzvah at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we look forward to continuing Shabbat together. Immediately following our service, there is an Oneg Shabbat. I hope you'll come enjoy some special treats in Ryan's honors, all sweets and goodies to eat. And then I hope you'll join us next Friday night on November 22nd, when we are going to dedicate our 5-year project here of raising significant dollars for our future and making our building handicaps accessible, and the operation of our new elevator addition. So we have a big dedication next Friday night. And the whole congregation is invited to come and celebrate, because it is truly, if one believes in miracles, what we accomplished is a Nes Gadol Haya Po.
Yeah.
A great miracle happened here, and Hanukkah hasn't even arrived yet. So please come and share the joy, because every member of the congregation helped to make it possible, and we are very, very proud of our accomplishment. Cantor?
A couple of other announcements. On December 4th, or originally it was supposed to be this Wednesday. Well, this Wednesday, if you're in the shopping mood, hopefully go to the Bridgewater Mall to Ever Eve, where Sisterhood is going to be having their fundraiser of the year. It's in the Bridgewater Mall. Again, the store is called Ever Eve. This RSVP, just come. The store will be closed to the public. It'll only be open to the Sisterhood. That's one. Also, on December 4th, Partnership for a Drug-Free New Jersey will be here speaking to parents about talking to your kids about vaping, about drugs, about alcohol, about all of those things that are very attractive to our teens and yet are so incredibly dangerous to our teens. The other thing is, along those same lines, I purchased 10 tickets for a Broadway show for our 10th through 12th graders. I only have 10, so it's a first come, first serve, to a show called Jagged Little Pill. It's a new show on Broadway all about family stress and teenage stress. It is a program that starts at noon that day with lunch and then followed by the show at 3 o'clock. It is March 1st, which is a Sunday afternoon. So I'm hoping that people will RSVP and just let me know how to get a ticket. So special thank you to Kylie. The fact that she's been doing this since she's in 7th grade and she is able to follow me. 8th grade. No, 7th grade you started. You're in 8th grade now. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In 7th grade, so 8th grade. So hopefully she'll be with me for many more years to come. But the fact that she can follow me and learn a new piece of music, which she did tonight, just picked it up like that. She's one incredible musician. She's been trained by her mom. She can play other instruments as well, and she's a quite talented young lady. So I am very blessed to have her as my musical partner this evening. So we're just going to close with a nigun, so you can put your prayer books away. And Ryan and Bradley and Kayla, if you'll join Rabbi for the Mosi.
I think you have a few cousins here and friends. Bring them up.
Let's go.
Come on up.
Give me an E major.
If anyone's hungry, come on up.
Ya lai la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya la lai la 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 lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya la lai la la lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya la lai, ya la lai, ya lai la lai lai, ya la 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 lai. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yay, 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 yay,
Okay, guys, get ready to eat. Kayla, come on over and pull it apart when we're ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please wish each other a Shabbat shalom. Perfect. Let me get your notes. Those are the Yortzeit plaques. My dad's name is up there as well. So because you can't always get to the cemetery whenever you want to, like, go to the sea, sometimes cemeteries are far away. To the cemetery all the time.
Thank you so much.
The light is lit, like if it was my dad.
Please join us in the rear of the sanctuary.